Let's get more now on our top story. Bob Brown is the leader of the Australian Greens Party, and he joins me now on the line from Canberra. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Brown. First of all, what did you think of President Obama's speech?
Hello, Rico. Well, he gave a very important speech about America's increased involvement in the Pacific, and particularly there's an economic imperative behind that, but it's also a clear flagging of a military build-up which will involve Australia, and one that's going to draw intense interest from right round the Pacific and particularly in East Asian nations, of course.
Are you concerned, Mr. Brown, that the United States will be increasing its military presence in Australia to 2,500 Marines?
Well, we are concerned. The Australian Greens Party is, although the bigger parties are not. They're both welcoming it, but because we don't have any details. We don't know whether 2,500 will become many more thousands. We don't know whether nuclear warships will be coming into Darwin Harbour. We don't know what the extent of this cooperation is, and that's a matter in an open democracy like Australia, which should be based on full public information and, of course, a parliamentary debate, and we've not had that.
When do you expect the Americans to give you full details of this expanded military cooperation between Australia and the U.S.?
Well, I don't expect they will. But the Australian Greens in both houses of Parliament will pursue the government in coming weeks and months to put those details before the Australian public. There is, after all, we are giving up here a historic opportunity for Australia in this century to take an independent profile in Asian Pacific affairs, and that should not be done lightly. We have important trading links with the rest of our countries in the region, from India through Indonesia to Japan and China. It is in our interest to consider our own well-being in the future, and that's not necessarily by taking sides in a contest between the military might of the United States and the growing military wherewithal, including nuclear weapons in China.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Brown, Mr. Obama stressed the stronger alliance between the two countries. What does this mean for Australian citizens on the diplomacy, trade and economic fronts?
Well, it's not going to increase the trade between Australia and the United States. That's already, as President Obama pointed out, investment in both directions is at a premium. But it will, of course, affect the future military profile. For example, the ability in an age of spread of nuclear weapons, where Australia has decided to export uranium to countries like China and Russia and India, of course we're being asked to do the same with Pakistan. We're in an increasingly nuclear-threatened world. President Obama has spoken about his concern about proliferation while he's here in Canberra, but this is not going to lead to a safer future. It's going to lead to a more nuclear-armed future in our region, and we don't think that's a good thing.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Mr. Bob Brown, leader of the Australian Greens Party, joining us live on the line from Canberra. Meanwhile, Burmese textile